I don't think any Boston Celtics fans saw this coming so soon. When Ugo Gonzalez was drafted 28th overall by Boston back in June, I don't think anybody expected him to be a big facet of the rotation, especially this early on in his rookie season. But he is proving everyone wrong, and I'm so fired up about it. You should be too. We're going to break down Ugo Gonzalez's awesome start to the season and the more opportunities that he's getting lately on today's edition of Celtics Today by Chat Sports. Before we do, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button, man, because we cover your Celtics like nobody else on YouTube, and we are very, very close to our next milestone of 55,000 subs. Just need 216 more green teamers to go down below and hit that subscribe button because you get free Celtics content all the time right in your YouTube feed. So go down below and hit that sub button. All right, Ugo Gonzalez, man, he has been awesome. And I'm recording this video before Monday night's Indiana Pacers matchup. Hopefully, Gonzalez gets a similar opportunity than he did over the weekend, like the 30 minutes per game that he got and the output that he did against Toronto and Miami here. Back-to-back games of double-digit scoring efforts for Gonzalez here. Back-to-back games of him leading the team in rebounds. The career best 10 rebounds against Toronto on Saturday. 3 stocks in both of these games because we know Ugo makes an impact both in the box score and out of the box score defensively, and he was really, really efficient in these 2 games as well. One thing I know about Ugo Gonzalez is he's never going to take a shot outside of his realm. He's always going to be set up, a dunker spot, a wide open 3. Like, those are going to be the shot diet that Ugo has at this point in his career, and I'm happy about that because it's kind of bled over into a whole month of really good basketball for Ugo Gonzalez here. He's getting more of an opportunity. In the 8 games he's played in December, the numbers have been fine, man. 7 points per game, 5 rebounds. You know he's trying to generate those extra possessions, those 50-50 balls for the C's. A steal a game pretty much. And then, again, really, really efficient marks from the field. 61% from the field overall and 43% from long range here. But Ugo's never going to really flash and jump off the page offensively. It's really the defense and the winning stats that Ugo kind of jumps off the page for here. With Ugo Gonzalez in the lineup for Boston, the numbers are crazy. The team best net rating as far as any one player being on the court at one time, Ugo Gonzalez gives the Celtics their best net rating, plus 19.9 points per 100 possessions. If you want a big whole round number, the Celtics are outscoring opponents by 111 points when Ugo Gonzalez is on the floor. So it's getting pretty tough to take him off, to be quite honest. He has a 3.0 steal percentage. That's in the 98th percentile of all wings in the NBA. I believe it's Cason Wallace and Keon Ellis are the only 2 guys that have a higher mark from him in that regard there. And then he is 7th among all wings in defensive rebounding percentage. The efficiency metrics love Ugo Gonzalez. It just boils down to him getting more of an opportunity. And if you want some more nerd stats about him on the defensive end specifically, Chris Forsberg's got him for you from NBC Sports Boston. He said, over a B-Ball index, they have Ugo Gonzalez graded as an A- for overall matchup difficulty. That's 62nd out of a 501 player sample size there, and an A+ in defensive positional versatility. That's 9th out of all 501 players in the league. Gonzalez has spent nearly as much time on centers, 18.5% of his time defending players, as he has defending shooting guards at 22.6%. So he can defend 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. That's absurd for a rookie. I mean, look, he was playing professional ball for a long time over there in Spain, but this is just insane to be happening at this early of a point in his NBA career. Look, these centers and shooting guards alike that Ugo is defending here, they are not scrubs because the guys over at NBC Sports Boston, they did a little bit of a kind of roundup here, and they just listed a laundry list of all-star level players that Ugo Gonzalez defends on a nightly basis. These aren't names that he just gets switched onto 1 or 2 possessions a night. No, Ugo Gonzalez is the primary defensive assignment for Cade Cunningham, Franz Wagner, Bam Adebayo, Brandon Ingram, Jalen Brunson, one of the best scoring guards in the NBA. Oh, wait, what about his center on his own roster in Karl-Anthony Towns? Scotty Barnes, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, KD, for God's sakes. I mean, the kid is 19 years old. Kevin Durant was almost in the NBA before this kid was born. And he's also defended Lauri Markkanen and Austin Reeves over there in the Western Conference as well. It's crazy, man. The Celtics trust Ugo Gonzalez a ton really early on in his career. And I did not anticipate that. This is a guy who came in super raw, and even though he did play professional ball with Real Madrid, he wasn't getting a ton of minutes with the actual squad there. Grown men were playing above him in that rotation. So he soaked up a lot of that info, and he's just come in with a lunch pail mentality that I'm going to go earn every single minute that I have. And another lunch pail mentality guy, Derrick White, his teammate, he's noticed that. Here's what he had to say on Ugo. He said Yeah, I saw what everybody was saying about him during Summer League, that he just never stops. So it's kind of what I expected when I got here. And it's been true. Since day one, it's been true. He came in and competes at a high level, plays hard, obviously makes some mistakes, but you never have to question his effort. He was big time for us tonight, talking about the Heat game. He kind of changed the game with his energy. He does a lot of things for us, getting those 50-50 balls and just creating turnovers. I love the way he competes. Well, yeah, he is competing. He's absolutely competing right now. There is a struggle going on for minutes on the wing for this Boston Celtics team. Like, if you think about who the Celtics kind of employ at that spot, obviously JT is out. Jaylen Brown's going to take up the bulk of the minutes. Sam Hauser will be the first one off the bench. But then you have a couple of young players who are kind of fighting for their NBA lives, a couple of them, on that wing for Boston. So it's a struggle right now. Ugo is a part of that competition. And look, when Jason Tatum does come back, there's going to be even fewer minutes to go around once JT is back in the lineup. So it's kind of an audition now for all these guys that are trying to earn minutes in the Celtics rotation for Joe Mazzulla. There is obviously Hugo Gonzalez, but then you think about some other guys who have really stood out so far this season for the C's. Like, you have Jordan Walsh, you got Baylor Scheierman, you have Josh Minott as well. Like, it's one of those things where, look, all these guys are at a similar level, right? At least from my point of view. You could let me know in the comments if you think differently, but Jordan Walsh has had really, really awesome stretches so far this year. Baylor Scheierman was playing over Jordan Walsh in the Raptors game on Saturday. I have Josh Minott here as well, and I threw an asterisk, though, because does he really compete with minutes at the 2 or the 3 for these guys? No, he's really more at the 3, 4, 5, and look, when the Celtics have as little depth as they do at the center spot, Josh Minott is going to have a carved-out role in this rotation for Boston. So really, it's a 3-man competition right now between Ugo, Jordan Walsh, and Baylor Scheierman for minutes, and those minutes are going to dry up even more once Zero gets back in the lineup. With that being said, you let me know who should get the most minutes out of these three. Let me know in the comment section. If it's Hugo Gonzalez, type a 28, his jersey number. If it's Jordan Walsh, do a 27. And if it's Baylor Scheierman, throw a double nickel, a 55 down in the comment section. Who should get the most minutes out of these young wings? Next, we're going to get into some Brad Stevens stuff here. Yeah, he came out with a quote that was kind of talking about the trade deadline and maybe leaking what the Celtics want to do here. We're going to get to that in just a moment. First, though, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The best time of year, folks, with basketball matchups, bowl games, and playoff pushes all happening at once. And with you and I making a ton of decisions this time of year on what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch, there's one place where being right on those decisions can get you paid, and that is PrizePicks, the best daily fantasy sports app in the game. PrizePicks is super simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections on your favorite sports, whether it's basketball, football, college sports, and so much more. And if you get your picks right, you can cash in. Everyone's favorite PrizePicks holiday promotion is back. 7 days of Picksmas. PrizePicks has given out 7 days of deals all the way through Christmas Day, including a Christmas Day max discount. Picksmas started on December 20th, so download the app today and unwrap those deals. PrizePicks now has early payouts as well, so if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. If you wanted my picks for the Christmas Day matchups in the football world, I got them for you. Dak Prescott more than 276.5 passing yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown to get in the end zone, more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. And then R.J. Harvey, I'm going with a big one here, a big demon play, more than 1.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns. You can tell my picks or fade my picks. Just do it at PrizePicks. And new users, you're going to get hooked up. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. So Brad Stevens was asked about the Celtics roster. Where are they at this point in the season? And did he kind of say that the Celtics could be buyers at the trade deadline? Let's just let Brad speak for himself here. He says, quote, "We will not put a ceiling on this group. If it makes sense for us to look at things that can help us, we certainly will. But it all has to be within good deals, and it all has to be within the ultimate goal, which is the North Star of retooling, so we're in a position to compete for what we want to compete for, which is a championship." Translation, I will be looking to swindle someone. I will be looking to get an insane deal. And look, are we surprised by that? I mean, go back and look at what Brad Stevens traded for to go out there and get Derrick White. This guy makes insane deals. Look how he got off the Kristaps Porzingis money. It's unbelievable. So he's going to be looking to go out there and make a pretty sweet deal. And that note about retooling, the North Star of retooling, well, what does that mean? Getting us in a position to compete where we want to compete for. I think that means getting the money down, to be honest with you guys. And that's been something that we heard all the way back in the offseason. The Celtics want to get under the luxury tax with new ownership coming in and potentially not being in a spot that is the best suited to win a championship this season. You want to get under the luxury tax so you avoid all the penalties and you just become a more free living basketball team. You can do so much more in the transaction game. So I think they want to shut off some money here. They're $12.1 million away from that luxury tax line. And we know Anfernee Simons and his $27 million contract is going to be the one that's primarily used here. But I would pump the brakes a little bit. Brad Stevens did say this part about it. He said, I think everybody, or a lot of teams, are really still very much in. Let's see how everything looks as time goes on. Everybody's a work in progress. What's the difference between 3rd and 9th in the East right now? That's hardly anything, right? And I think that we're all still trying to figure out who we are and what we can be. So second translation now. I need more time to decide who to trade. I need more time to decide who belongs in this team for the long term and who does not. Now, what's been interesting to me is Brad Stevens has been speaking pretty highly of one Anfernee Simons lately. That's the guy we know is going to be the primary trade candidate for this team. So I thought it was interesting that Brad has talked about how he's done everything right, how he loves how he's fit into the team, how he's talked about him being a part of the team potentially long term. I think what Brad is really trying to do with Anfernee Simons here is just bump that trade value up. Do whatever he possibly can to market Anfernee Simons to other teams. Make people believe that you're in love with the guy, that you can't get rid of him. So there's at least something coming back of value when Brad decides to pull the trigger. But that's where I'm kind of at right now. I think we're going to expand on these quotes a little bit more in a future video this week, so stay tuned for that. But answer this question for me before we go. Do the Celtics need to make a trade this season? Simple question. What say you? Why for yes and for no? Does Boston need to make a deal or not before the season wraps up? I want to hear from you guys. That will do it for today's show. Give me a follow over on Twitter at Tyler J. Smith. 2 H's because the name's common, but I am not. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. YouTube.com/CelticsTV for the latest and greatest on your C's all season long. Might get into some watch parties very, very soon. Let me know if you guys want to down in the comment section. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, let's go C's.